It's a hat trick. Third commitment in 3 days for Florida State. They stay hot on the trail, this time with a commitment locally here in Tallahassee, as the Seminole Showcase happened on Saturday and on Sunday. As you can see right here at the bottom of the screen, 2024 linebacker Timir Hickman-Collins has said yes to Florida State. I am joined by senior recruiting analyst Michael Langston and Swiss Army knife of Warchant staff recruiting and team side in Matt Lasserre. These two guys talked to Timir, and you can hit the like button below this video, before and after he committed. And so, Matt, I'll go to you. You spoke to Timir about the visit, how things were going on Saturday night. Give me a little bit of a rundown of what you heard from Florida State's newest commit.
Yeah, so he really loved the visit yesterday. He had a great time. One of the biggest things that kind of stood out from at least me talking to him, I think, was just the way Coach Shannon coached. He said he learned a lot of tips and tricks that he can use for his upcoming season. And he said overall he thinks he can learn a lot from him and like be developed into the future. He also loved the competition he saw. I think he loved the way the camp was kind of run. And I mean, we know this from watching practices and seeing Mike Norvell coach, but competition is a huge part at Florida State in practice off the field. So and he loved that. That was, I think, like the big deciding factor that kind of switched for him. And even right after, he was like, FSU's my number one, without a doubt. And it clearly didn't take him that long to make the decision.
And Michael, you talked to him after the decision was final. It sounded like this was he was leaning so hard to Florida State he was falling over on Saturday. So when you spoke to him after the news was finalized and he was able to make it known to the coaching staff, how did Timir sound to you today?
Yeah, it was great. It's a kid that's grew up liking FSU. Mentioned I just put up a Q&A for everyone to read on our PRB, but just really raved about, Jameis Winston. First, he said, hey, I love the colors. That's why I first liked him when I was a young kid and I didn't know anything about football. But man, at the same time, man, I mean, this kid's sharp. Like he knows his stuff. I mean, he knows football. He knows ball. He knows a lot of football acronym of everything you're looking for. And obviously, like Matt alluded to, he mentioned Shannon a lot. And he mentioned Norvell. And I always wondered this, like the energy they have when they greet people, does that really affect too many people? And you could see it really affected Timir the first time he met him. I think the first visit was at the spring game, and this was the second one. So I think there's little things that FSU does that really attracts people, but even more so in checking with my FSU intel, they're really high on this kid. Like they really think they got a gem. 6 interceptions for a linebacker. That's the astronomical number for a linebacker. So he definitely feels comfortable there. And then certainly what he does tackling, he gets off blocks pretty well. I would like to see it more, but I see some good stuff as far as the way he gets off blocks, and then his speed is really good. Now athleticism is not like out of this world, but it does flash to you at times. But I love what I see in coverage with this guy, and then his hitting. Mike Norvell touched on it in his tweet. We got a big hitter coming to FSU, and this kid hits. He moves the object. You're going down. So certainly a strong hitter, a strong guy in space, very quick on his feet. I love his quickness, and just reads plays really well. As far as you can see that with a lot of his 6 interceptions. He told me he first was a quarterback when he first started doing football, and he's like, I wasn't really good at that, but then he's like, I really got to study film when I was quarterback, so it really got him into studying film ever since he was 6 years old. So I think once he did that, I think it was a lot of study, and he kind of saw what tendencies quarterbacks have, and just feeling where the play is going. And I just think there's footwork and instinct stuff that you can clean up a technique. But overall, I think this kid's a playmaker. You could see it in all over the field when he's playing. I mean, he just makes plays. I mean, he's always whether it's a tackle, where it's reading a quarterback's eyes of where they're throwing, or getting off blocks. There's technique stuff that will need to clean up. But man, when he gets off blocks, he is shooting through that gap as far as make the hit.
So you guys have both described this to me. We had a little text chain before we got to this video. He's an impressive kid. So Matt, I'll come back to you just in your conversations with him, what you've seen in his interactions. Michael has hit on it, but it seems like In terms of a culture fit, this one is an easy one for Florida State as long as the requisite athleticism was there. An easy decision for Randy Shannon and the FSU defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, perfect fit culture-wise. I've always liked how this staff kind of dives more deep into the character of the kid rather than just what you see on the field. And this is a perfect example of that. Like, clearly he's gone under the radar. He doesn't have like stars or anything like that right now. That should come soon. But just the way he, like Michael alluded to, he loves watching film. High football IQ, great kid overall, really easy to talk to. Doesn't seem like he's ever had a problem or will ever have a problem. Just a great overall kid and obviously great on the football field.
So, Michael, okay, Matt just brought it up. I mean, you got to talk about it. He doesn't quite have an on-3 profile yet. Some industry places have him as a 3-star. If you, looking at this highlight film and then obviously asking people in the community, were to assign an on-3 grade to this kid, where would you put him at this point for Florida State? And obviously, as we move forward towards the 2024 commitment date. I mean, assignment.
I knew, Tom, you're going to throw me in there, man. I knew you were going to throw me a curveball, throw me an Aslan. But yeah, I created this profile last night, which was challenging in itself. But
Yeah.
For me, I would have him above the medium 3-star. I would have him almost a pretty high 3-star for me.
Okay.
I'm right there because I just love this kid's film. I understand, I grasp like, hey, there's areas that technique wise they could get better. And if they do, man, this is a kid that I think is going to keep rising up once people, get eyes on him because of the skill set. I mean, it's just like I said, 6 interceptions for a linebacker is not normal. The way he reads coverages, the way he reads quarterback's eyes, the way he explodes through the hits. Once this technique stuff's cleaned up, I don't care what the hell his star rating is. I mean, he's a great linebacker. So he does all the things that you want that check off stuff for linebackers. And we've seen FSU covets these guys that can cover linebackers. They covet speed. They covered athletic ability. Yeah, he doesn't shine in athletic ability, but what he makes up for with the motor and the speed and what he does in quickness and space and some of his strengths, Bo. I think middle range 3-star or even higher, probably a high 3-star would be for me.
And then for the linebacker board, last question, Michael. Florida State, more to do? Or is this kind of it? Maybe the transfer portal is the route that they go to round out 2024. What do you think?
Right now, I'd say we have to wait and see. Probably, I'd say portal because I definitely feel that you're going to add somebody from the portal at the linebacker position because you're going to lose Kalen DeLoach, you're going to lose Tatum Bethune, you're going to lose some guys, and we've seen when FSU loses guys. Even though I'm very excited about Omar Graham, I'm very excited about Blake Nicholson, I'm very excited about these guys they have coming in. You have to also protect those guys too. And provide them, veteran experience. So I think they will certainly add at least one as far as the linebacker. As far as high school, I haven't heard as far as like their top guy, but they are very active, I would say, in 2025. It's a position that I feel that they've done a great job developing. It's a position that's still developing and recruiting and getting top guys. So I think that's kind of the next step of start getting some elite guys that stand out overall on the board for everybody.
It's been a bang-up week for the Noles on the recruiting trail. These two guys have helped provide you the updates every step of the way. Head over to warchant.com for more information, more in-depth coverage of the Seminole Showcase weekend and everything FSU, as, again, they're not done on the trail just yet, but the number 5 recruiting class in the country for 2024 is Florida State.